A long time ago, in a quiet village near the Ume Hills, there lived a poor farmer named Kwabena. He had strong hands from many years of working the soil and a heart full of love. He didn't have much, but he was always kind, honest, and hardworking. Kwabena lived in a small mud hut with his beautiful wife, Salika, and their three children, two daughters named Ifunanya and Tando, and a son, Chibike. The family had little to eat, but they were always happy together. They laughed, sang, and told stories around the fire at night. Their house was poor, but their love was rich. Kwabena had grown with three boys, who later became rich men. Sefu, who became a chief, Lulama, who owned many cows, and Abiola, who made gold jewelry for kings. As children, the four had played under trees, fetched water together, and shared roasted corn. They had once promised to always be like brothers. But now, the three men had big homes, servants, and fine clothes. Kwabena still farmed with his bare hands. At first, they treated him kindly. Sefu invited him to big parties. Lulama let his cows eat near Kubema farm, and Abiola gave him a necklace for his wife, Zalika. But after some time, their kindness changed into teasing. One day, at a village festival, Sefu said loudly, "Kwabena, you smell like the sun. Maybe you should sell your sweat." Everyone laughed. Another day, Lulama laughed and said, "Your children must be very holy. They fast every day." Abiola made him carry gold all day, but paid him with a fake smile. They began to use him, lie to him, and treat him like he was not a real man. Even though it hurt, Kwabena kept quiet. At home, Zalika saw his sadness. "My husband," she said, "even a strong man can speak up when others step on him." But Kwabena shook his head. "I will not become like them. We still have peace at home." Then the worst came. Rain stopped falling. The ground dried up. Rivers disappeared. For 7 moons, the sky stayed empty. No crops grew. No food remained. The whole village began to suffer. Even the rich began to worry. Kwabena's family had almost nothing left. Zalika boiled leaves and tree bark to feed the children. The girls grew weak. Chibike, the only son, stopped smiling. Kwabena, full of shame, went to his old friends one last time. "Please," he begged, kneeling, "help me feed my family." But Sefu laughed. "A man with empty hands should not have children." Lulama said, "If your land gives you nothing, then you are nothing." Abiola threw him a dirty coin and turned away. Kwabena walked home in tears. That night, while everyone slept, Kwabena sat alone under the old Iroko tree and cried. His heart was broken. Suddenly, the air became cold. The leaves stopped moving. Out of the darkness came an old woman. Her eyes were silver. Her feet did not touch the ground. She was not human. She was a spirit. "I've heard your cries," she said. "Then help me," Kwabena whispered. "I can," she said, "but only if you give the gods what they truly want." "What do they want?" "The one you love the most," the woman said. She handed him a small gold and said, "Pound him into the earth at sunrise. Then the skies will open." Before he could ask more, she disappeared like smoke. Kwabena could not sleep. He looked at his family. Zalika, his wife, Ifunanya and Tando, his joy. But Chibike, he was Kwabena's pride, his only son, his laughter, his hope. Tears fell from Kwabena's eyes, but deep in his heart, he knew what he had to do. At dawn, he gently picked up Chibike, who was still sleeping, and wrapped him in clothes. They walked quietly to the sacred pounding stone near the village center. "Papa," Chibike said, "are you going to make pounded yam?" Kwabena nodded, unable to speak. Chibuike smiled. I will help. He stood by the stone. Is this for the gods, Papa? Kwabena held back a sob. Yes, for the gods. Then I am ready, Chibuike said. And then, with a shaking heart, Kwabena lifted the pounding stick, and he pounded. Once, twice, 3 times. The sky turned dark, the wind screamed, then silence, and the first drop of rain fell. By evening, the rain poured. It washed the dry earth. The rivers returned. Crops began to grow. Life came back to Ume Hills. But Kwabena did not celebrate. He buried the sun under the pounding tree. He said no words. His heart was too broken. 3 days later, a small tree grew from that spot. It grew faster than anything anyone had seen. Within weeks, it stood taller than a house, its leaves silver like the spirit woman's eyes. People came from all villages to see it. They called it the boy tree. They asked Kwabena what happened, but he stayed silent. One by one, his old friends came back. Shefu offered him money. Lulama brought cows. Abiola gave gold. Kwabena looked at them and said, now you see me because the gods saw me first. But where were you when I cried? He turned and walked away. The villagers built a small shrine near the tree. Mothers brought their babies to sit under its shade. Sick people slept beside its roots. Travelers offered gifts to the spirit of the tree. It was said that on quiet nights, the wind through its leaves sounded like a child's voice singing softly. Kwabena grew old, but each morning he sat under the tree and whispered stories to the wind. When someone asked him one day, do you still miss him? He placed a hand on the back and said, I miss him every second, but he gave his life for this village. He is not gone. He is in the rain, the wind, and this tree. The moral of Kubewa's story: true love is not what you say. It's what you give, even when it hurts. Never laugh at the humble, for they may be closest to the gods.